Hello and welcome. I'm Ian Unger.
And I'm Logan Flaming.
And together we host the Ultimate Fan Podcast, the show where the greatest fans discuss the greatest in entertainment across the universe. Guess what, Logan?
We're talking about Thor Ragnorak.
This is our last episode before Avengers Infinity War.
It is indeed.
I think you're losing Korg there.
At the end I was.
He's disappearing.
At the end I was.
He's becoming something else.
It's when I start straying from actual things that are said in the movie that I can't keep it.
Yeah. But man, the hype. This is it, folks.
Home stretch, last movie. I'm so excited. I just want it to be Thursday already.
If you listen to this on the day it comes out, tomorrow we will be seeing Avengers Infinity War.
Just soaking it all in.
Yeah. Man.
And we're going to podcast right afterwards.
I'm getting chills. Yeah, you can be looking forward to that. We'll be recording a podcast review, our reaction to it immediately afterwards, hopefully with some of our friends, some people who go see it with us. And you can be looking forward to that. That'll be coming out soon. Very soon.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm going to see it twice, 2 days in a row.
Wait, do you already have plans for Friday?
Yeah.
When are you seeing? Who are you seeing with on Friday?
Because Cassie can't see it with us on Thursday.
Oh, that's right.
So I'm going to go see it on Friday again.
Right.
Yeah.
I might go. No, well, Friday's senior banquet, so I probably can't. But
not going to that. Man,
I'm ready to get into it.
This movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. So today's Thor Ragnarok.
Ragnarok.
Shoot. Yeah. Let's get into it. Best Thor movie?
Easily. 100%.
Yeah.
Just such a freaking done deal.
Do we need to talk about our first impressions of it? Because that wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, I definitely think we need to.
Okay. I remember. Do you remember watching the first teaser for this movie?
First trailer for this is awesome.
Yeah.
We were so stoked.
And you pulled me into that lobby, and I was jumping out of my chair.
Did you know it was partially adapting Planet Hulk at the time?
I didn't.
Okay.
We all had suspicions. We all had, because we were talking about where's Hulk, where's Thor, and talking about them being together possibly, and there were tons of rumors floating in the air. So when I saw the commercial, and I saw that it was for sure going to happen, so Planet Hulk, which all the Sakaar stuff is inspired from that comic book arc.
Is Sakaar the planet used in Incredible Hulk?
Yeah, it's called Sakaar.
I mean, in Planet Hulk?
Yeah. It's way different, though. By way different, I mean, the main similarity is that it's a planet where, it's kind of this dump planet where strays, things from throughout the universe, just kind of it's like an island of misfit toys planet.
Which it is the same way in the film in that respect.
But apart from that, and the fact that there's gladiators,
is the design the main difference?
The Grand Master isn't there, and there's a bunch of different, but there is a kind of a primary race of people there. They're
the
Redskins. Yeah,
which to me this is one of something that's confusing to me, or maybe a plot hole in the Marvel universe
because of Guardians.
So the cannon fodder soldiers that Ronan uses are Sakaarians.
Yeah,
but I don't see any Sakaarians on Sakaar in this movie.
Yeah, I wonder if,
or something that even would resemble a military force like the Sakaarians that you see in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1.
And Grandmaster, when he's talking, when he makes his big public announcements, he calls everybody Sakaarians.
Right. So it's even more confusing.
I wonder if when Guardians 1 was made, if that was a subtle reference to that, but then just because they weren't planning on having an actual movie in Sakaar at the time.
The plans changed. Well, the script and this movie itself changed a lot during production, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was just not the case at that point.
Yeah. I don't know. But anyways,
just something about this film that kind of irks me.
At the time, I loved it. I came out of the movie theater thinking it was a fun ride, a really great movie. I thought it was much better than the other two Thors, but I also knew it had I wasn't completely satisfied, but we can get into that later.
Yeah. So when I saw this film, Well, I had a little bit of, while I love the trailers, I did have a little bit of trepidation after like hearing how this was like straight up a comedy and like knowing Taika Waititi, the director's background. I was a little nervous, like how it was all going to fit together, especially since Ragnarok is in like Thor comics is a very like dark story. Ragnarok like means the end of all things. So I'm like, how are we going to address Ragnarok and like the cycle of life and death in the like in the Asgardian universe while like having it be this like road trip comedy with Thor and Hulk?
Yeah.
So that was something I was a little bit worried coming into it. Coming out of the film, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Had a great time. Well, I didn't thoroughly enjoy it. I had a great time with all the Sicarian bits. I loved everything in the beginning, but for me, like Hela was 100% the weak point in the film for me. And every time we cut away to Hela, I didn't care, and she was just not interesting to me. And honestly, like my reaction to the film, while I love the parts, I probably love the parts that I loved the first more than I did in the first time I saw it. But the parts that I didn't enjoy as much are the same as they were the first time I saw it.
Yeah, I feel you. Coming to it this time, we just finished watching it. Only a couple of things that I saw watching it the first time where I was like, ooh, this isn't great. Actually, maybe not even a couple, maybe only like one thing did I watch this time and be like, that's okay. Like, but then there were other things that I thought were okay before that this time I watched them and I was like, I don't care about this at all. Like, I don't need it.
Yeah. There's a lot to love in this movie, but there's also a lot not to love.
Yeah. And it's not even that it's like hate worthy. It's just that
it's just boring.
And it could have been so much more. Like Loki.
I think a lot of it. Loki. Okay.
No, because Thor says.
Oh, you could be so much more. I'm like, what? You don't like Loki in this film? But I was like, okay, that makes you feel better.
Yeah. Shall we get it? Shall we just leap into all the stuff that we're kind of dancing around? So, what should we start with? Should we start with the bad stuff or start with the good?
Let's start with the opening.
The opening?
Yeah.
Hilarious.
I loved it.
It completely sets like a different tone than all the other Thor movies. Just in the way that, like, I think Thor talks more in that opening than he does in like a half hour of either of the other Thor movies.
Yeah, or even like an Avengers film.
Yeah. And this whole movie, he just talks so much. He has so much dialogue.
Yeah, I love how like this movie, it establishes this kind of turning of a new leaf for Thor.
Yeah.
And Chris Hemsworth's portrayals of Thor right off the back with like the whole like gag with him like being the chain and like turning around.
Yeah.
All that stuff. Just kind of his more lighthearted, jokey, like fun nature that we get like right off the bat. I'm 100% like in on it from the start.
Even more than like, even in a lot of comics, Thor is still the strong silent type, you know?
Totally.
And I actually he's more relatable, and I don't necessarily want a Thor who's like this god who is like untouchable, and what I want him to be more
thunder,
like
blah blah. Come fight me, ye foes.
Yeah.
Taste my wrath.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
The mighty Thor.
I love how all that is played for jokes, even in the previous movies, but especially in this film.
Yeah. Definitely. I love that that one joke in Age of Ultron where like Scarlet Witch does something to his head and he's like, she's tried to affect our minds. Fortunately, I am mighty. And as he's like saying it, he's like wandering into his like weird nightmare.
Yeah. So all those like comedic moments that you see glimpses of in like all the Thor films and the past two Avengers films, those are the best parts of Chris Hemsworth's portrayal of Thor.
Yeah.
And this movie realizes that, takes advantage of Chris Hemsworth's comedic chops and just runs with it from the top.
We were just mentioning this. Like, the thing is, all those comedy moments don't detract from heartfelt conversations and good character moments and like relationship moments between him and Loki, Valkyrie, Hulk, Odin.
Yeah, those dramatic moments are allowed to stand on their own. I think they do a better job of that than probably even Guardians 2. I think Guardians 2 cuts down their dramatic moments.
I don't think so. I think Guardians 2 does better.
I think their Guardians, like the Guardians moments are greater. The dramatic moments are greater, more heartfelt, more emotional.
Yeah.
But this movie does, I think, a better job of respecting those and not like detracting from them with a comedic moment.
I wouldn't say that Guardians doesn't do that well, but you're right in that like the dramatic moments here have like more space to breathe.
Yeah.
Ironically, when I saw it the first time, I kind of was like, ooh, I don't know if they're giving these moments enough time.
Because you're just overwhelmed by the humor.
Yeah. And there's just so much that the movie moves quickly. And it has so much going on.
Totally. I was surprised
except for when it doesn't move quickly.
I was surprised we got Surtur right off the top.
Yeah.
That kind of blew my mind.
Did you think like when you saw the trailers that it was going to like that was going to be an end of the movie shot, Thor in chains and stuff?
Yeah, I thought Surtur was only going to show up at the end, honestly.
Yeah. I didn't really have any idea. Like I saw that first teaser and then I usually do, I stayed away from all the footage afterwards because I didn't want to see anything from the Hulk and Thor fight more than I already had. So I didn't even have like speculation about Surtur or like anything.
Most of my expectation like about Surtur came from the comics with like Surtur being the big bad, the cause of Ragnarok.
Yeah.
So I was just surprised we got off the top.
How do you feel about his appearance?
I'm not crazy about Clancy Brown's portrayal of him.
No, why?
Because I've seen Clancy Brown voice a bajillion characters in like animation, from Justice League to Star Wars: The Clone Wars to Star Wars Rebels. Clancy Brown is just a famous voice actor.
Yeah.
So he was just kind of in this. It kind of took me out of it because it's Clancy Brown.
Yeah, that's all you recognize.
Sounding like Clancy Brown.
Yeah.
It's like it sounds like Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
So that I was like, Clancy Brown sounds great, but to me, when I hear Clancy Brown, I hear Clancy Brown.
Yeah.
So that was a little like detracting for me,
but
because I have a lot of baggage with like that voice.
Yeah, and I think it's good that you recognize that because probably to the average person, especially people who aren't familiar with animated things or his voice, it's a fine performance. Like they're not going to recognize him and be like, oh, that's Lex Luthor, like talking.
Yeah,
like,
I just wish it was a little bit more of a unique voice.
Yeah,
and not such a common voice.
I think you're right.
Clancy Brown feels like a safe pick for Surtur.
Yeah, I think you're right, especially when you think about the fact like you have an actor like Mark Hamill. He doesn't just give you his voice every time he does a different character.
Yeah, he disappears into the role.
Yeah, like you can if you listen, you can tell it's him. Like. But there are different characters he plays where when you listen, you're like, unless you're pretty astute, you wouldn't necessarily like pick it up right off the bat because he blends well enough and like.
Right. Just compare like the Joker to Fire Lord Ozai.
Yeah. And Luke Skywalker even.
Yeah. Just even going, but just from strictly like voiceover performances.
Yeah.
Fire Lord Ozai and Joker couldn't be farther apart.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Oh my gosh. So I love Avatar.
Yeah, me too. So what'd you think of the Thor returning to Asgard? And how do you feel about them wrapping off the Loki like subplot on the throne so fast?
So we were kind of talking about it in our Thor 2 episode. Honestly, when I watched this movie in theaters, I'd completely forgotten about where Thor 2 left off.
Really?
Because it was so long ago, and I also like...
There's a long gap between those two films.
Yeah, and I didn't like that movie a ton. I only saw it once, remember? And so I'd completely forgotten about like the whole cliffhanger thing, like Loki's on the throne. And so when Thor showed up back on Asgard, it was more like I was just kind of like, wait, where's... Because I could tell it was probably Loki, like pretending to be Odin. Like you can tell something's up. Like if you were a newcomer to these movies.
My favorite comedic moment in the whole movie when
Thor comes in
and Odin's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And like he just that moment just like cracks me up.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's crazy that they got the cameos that they did.
Yeah, Matt Damon. And is that actually Liam Hemsworth?
Yeah, no, it's Luke Hemsworth.
Oh, Luke Hemsworth.
Luke Hemsworth. It's not Liam.
Yeah. I was
Luke's
going to
the
say
thicker one.
Yeah.
And then
looks a little more like Chris.
And then Sam Neill of Jurassic Park fame.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So cool.
He's brilliant.
I love seeing like Odin, like Anthony Hopkins play like a Loki Odin.
Yeah.
It's so entertaining to me.
And he did it like really well, just like the comedic timing and like the little dialogues. But yeah, when I first saw it, because I forgot about that whole bit, I just was kind of like, oh, well, where's Odin? Like, frick. And that was it. Like, I didn't. But you said it was like a big letdown for you, right?
Oh, that was a cliffhanger. Like, I get that we're jettisoning what really didn't work on like the past Thor films and creating like this new fresh start for Thor in this film. But that was like something that I was actually really looking forward to seeing.
Yeah.
So to have it being wrapped up in the way it was so quickly, like, well, I think it was great for this movie. It was a little something that I had to get used to.
Yeah. I'll say that, like, especially watching it this time, for me, it felt like classic Thor comics where Thor, this like seemed to happen all the time. Thor goes away, he's dealing with some like stuff on Earth or saving the world or the universe or whatever. He's doing stuff. And then he always is like coming back home to Asgard. And I actually like that the 3 movies, especially Thor 2 and Ragnarok, deal with this like aspect of Thor that he's usually not at Asgard. Like he's just running around doing stuff.
Which is why he refuses the throne.
Yeah. But like, I liked the feeling and the vibe I got because in a lot of classic comics, Thor's always coming home and Loki's always up to something. Like when he gets back to Asgard. Yeah. And we've seen it multiple times where Loki has gotten the throne somehow through some amount of mischief or another. And Thor always comes home and has to be like, Loki, and like boot him out, and then things are back to normal.
Thor is like the house maiden that like just can't keep his house clean.
Yeah.
As soon as he look around, like goes like fix one mess that someone else like caused, his kids like are causing like trouble and making a mess in the other room.
Yeah. Speaking of Thor making messes,
Thor is the maid of the universe.
Of the whole universe.
Of the 9 realms.
The Guardians are causing trouble and Thor's cleaning up after.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he's going to be with them in Infinity War. Oh, I can't wait to.
Speaking of Thor making messes, though, let's talk about that Doctor Strange cameo.
Gosh, it's so good.
So, check out our Doctor Strange episode just released not too long ago.
After watching Doctor Strange and after watching this, Doctor Strange has like jumped into my top 8, top 10 most anticipated characters for Infinity War.
Oh yeah, I'm
like fully back on like Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange.
Were you not on for a little bit?
It'd been a minute since I seen that movie, and I like the last time I watched it, I kind of got bored and like fell asleep halfway through, so I didn't have like the best previous viewing of it. But like I'm all on board with that character now, and I love the movie, and he's fantastic in this.
Yeah, I think my favorite parts are just seeing like the development of character, and we touched on this in our Doctor Strange episode. That movie is a little bit nebulous as to how much time passes, but I get the impression
seems like a whole heck of a lot of time has passed.
Yeah,
between
definitely.
the end of Doctor Strange and now, he's just like running around, like looking up spells in the books,
and he's like so confident in his magical abilities.
Flying around his house.
Yeah, he can just like transport Thor wherever he wants, willy nilly, and like even when Loki like pulls daggers on him, he doesn't like look the least bit phased. It's not until Loki charges at him that he's like,
get out of here.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to deal with your crap, and like just sends them away.
Yeah, he's well on his way to becoming the Sorcerer's Supreme.
Oh yeah,
at this point.
Like you can just even in his tone of voice, I feel like Benedict has like owned the role more.
100%,
and you can feel like just like like that same confidence he has when he's just a doctor, like at the beginning of his movie, like is now applied to magic. Like he just is like, yeah, he's just so smart, and like he wasn't doing those little like tricks like, oh look, you have a beer mug in your hand, and I'm just like refilling it.
Not cheap parlor tricks.
Yeah. But he just wasn't like doing those before, and it's like he can do them now because he just like is so powerful.
This is the first time in the MCU where I feel like the on-screen Doctor Strange really feels like the comic book page Doctor Strange.
Definitely.
It's the cool, confident, doing whatever he wants, also using his powers just to mess and screw with you because he can.
Yeah.
He's cool and confident. He just flies across the room like it's nothing.
Oh, yeah. When he shows up, it's super dope.
Yeah, I also love the updated costume. It's like brighter colors. It's got gold gloves.
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
I think it's a great use of a cameo.
Great. I think it's one of the best usages. Is like, okay, we're going to have the character come in here for like 5 minutes and then leave for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Falcon is in Ant-Man.
But like it was well timed. You're right, like 5 minutes. And also like well used. Like, because we don't need him in the rest of the movie to like tag along or do stuff.
It made sense with the story. And it doesn't derail the movie. I feel like a lot of times we can derail a movie with like a cameo from a popular character that we love from another movie.
Yeah.
But this one only enhances it and adds to the story.
Yeah.
And makes sense in the story as well.
Definitely, like because he shows up on Asgard they show up on Earth, and Doctor Strange has been looking out for those kinds of people, and like his just a brief explanation. He's like, Loki's on my checklist of people, like if they show up, I'm gonna do something about it. So like, yeah, just super well handled. What about that Odin scene? Let's actually camp on this a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I think that, well, not just this scene, but Odin, Loki, and Thor in the whole movie. Because I think if there's one thread apart from just Thor, like that has transcended all three films, it's the relationship of
it's
these
his
three.
daddy issues.
Yeah. Well, his daddy and his brother. And I love that. I love that it's not just Thor and Odin. Mm-hmm. I really love that. I appreciate it so much because even from the very beginning of Thor 1, it was never just Thor and Odin.
Right.
Loki was always there. Like,
yeah, but Loki is like pretty much the only time I think you see him with Odin in Thor 2 is the trial at the beginning.
Yeah.
So to have those characters like come together,
that's true. Yeah.
and see Odin in this different place after like everything that's happened, after what Loki did to him.
But you hear Odin tell Thor like his thoughts about Loki.
Oh yeah, totally. But then you see Odin in this completely different place, about ready to die, longing for Frigga. I love how much he references Frigga and how his effect, like he turns into like Asgardian pixie dust as he dies. I love how it's like the same thing that happened to Frigga. Yeah. I love how it's emotionally connected to Thor 2 with Frigga's death, and it adds even more weight to the best part of Thor 2, which is Frigga's death. I
like that when they come, he says "my sons."
Totally.
And like and I like how serious Loki is in that moment. He's not kind of angsty or teenager-ish, like kind of like
his mischief has gotten him into real trouble.
Yeah. And he's very serious about like this fact. And
he's not dismissive of Odin.
Yeah.
It's the same way he is in like Thor 2.
So what do you think about, do you know, okay, I just realized something, but how do you feel about the fact like this movie just very, very subtly and like it barely explains, number one, why Odin's on Earth, and number two, that it was Loki who put him there?
I never
do you even care?
I didn't have any issues with it because I was deep in the Marvel continuity and I knew exactly what was going on.
Okay.
Thor 2 is one of those movies like, do you ever have one of those movies where you don't really love it all that much, but you see it a bunch?
No.
No. Okay.
Oh, well, yes.
Where you just happen to see like a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Or like it's on TV.
That's because of my younger brother.
It's like, or like it's on TV and you just watch it a couple times.
Yeah.
Even though it's like not your favorite movie. Salt is one of those movies for me.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. Anyway, Thor 2 is one of those movies. So I'm very familiar with that movie.
Okay. But like at the end of that movie, it doesn't say like why.
No, that's why I was excited to see why.
Yeah. But like it's just like a couple of comments from Thor and Loki himself.
I think it's all we need. I'm
point
cool
out
with it.
like, but like what I just realized is in that moment, it's almost like Loki should be, he stripped Odin of some power ability and almost like.
He made him forget who he is.
Oh, is that what he does?
Yeah, he turned him into a homeless guy.
Okay. And he like maroons him on Earth.
Maroons him in New York as a homeless guy. And then Odin eventually figures out who he is and then somehow finds his way to the white CGI caves of cliffs of Norway.
Which is really New Zealand.
Yeah.
And green screen.
I like to point out that in the first trailer, where you see Hela like grab Thor's hammer.
That's in a New York alley.
Yeah, it's in a New York alley because originally Odin was supposed to be a homeless guy, and he was supposed to be a homeless guy and then die. That whole like cliff stuff was, I believe, was reshoots.
How do you know all of that? Like, how do you know all of that? Like, is there something that says this is what happened?
Well, just from reports online.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't mean the reshoots. I mean like that, like it's confirmed Odin like forgot who he was.
Yeah,
was
there was like photos in like set photos of
No.
Odin as,
I'm not talking about
guy.
that. I'm talking like, how do you know like that's what happened? Like in the story.
Like what happened?
Like in continuity in the story that Loki erased his memory. He was a bum for a while until he found out who he was, and then he went to like Norway.
I think it's implied with what we like saw in the movie, and it's also like that was
because Loki says I know where I left him, and they go to New York.
Yeah, and there's also just the implied stuff that I know that was originally shot.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. We're spending a lot of time on this, but anyways, what I was gonna say is, Loki is like, yeah, he's done some bad stuff. He's done some bad stuff to Odin, and this is his first time showing up and seeing him, and he should be expecting to like get spanked.
Yeah,
and I think that's also why he's so serious.
Odin's reaction to when Thor screws off in Thor 1.
Yeah, definitely. But like instead, Loki's met just with like acceptance and like almost like just grace.
Odin's kind of above it, honestly. He's about ready to die.
Yeah,
he doesn't care. He's not concerned with what, like, the impending threat of Hela, really.
And
He's
I think
you guys will face her. I'm gonna die. Enjoy my wife.
Yeah, and I think that's why Loki is like so serious, though. Let's talk about other Thor Loki stuff. What do you think is your favorite scene in the whole movie between the two of them?
Easily for me, it's the whole stuff like before Get Help and like in the elevator sequence.
Yeah.
I love all that stuff where they just kind of address their relationship at that point.
Yeah.
Also, when they're in
like
the
how they're
elevator,
talking about
it straight up reminds me of like Anakin in Obi-Wan as they're going to see Padme.
Yeah, definitely.
On Coruscant. It's like framed the same sort of way. It's a CGI background.
Yeah. I like
Get nervous.
I like the whole conversation, and about how like they're talking about their family dynamics, and it's like this cool little action bit where they're just like taking out guys.
Yeah,
I love the two of them with the like machine guns just mowing people down.
Just cock it and then they just go after each other.
I
love that.
What about when he's in like the little gladiator prison and Loki visits him?
That's a great scene too.
Yeah,
I love how Thor, like Loki, is like he actually really craves Thor's attention.
Oh, definitely.
And then even though like he does everything to indicate the opposite, that he just wants to get rid of Thor, he needs Thor.
Yeah.
But when Thor moves on past him to like, Loki, you're always going to be the god of mischief, and you're going to be you, and I'm going to be me, and that's okay. And he's accepted that.
Yeah.
I love how Loki's taken aback by it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know how to deal with it, and it makes him sad.
Yeah.
Because he actually really does deep down love his brother.
Okay, I got a couple things to say about that because it's really well done.
It's really well done, and it's incredibly nuanced and exciting.
I love the fact, you're totally right. Like the payoff of that whole conversation and 3 movies worth of like relationship building.
Not just 3 movies. Avengers.
Yeah, that's true. It comes to that moment after Get Help, when he's zapping Loki, and like we see Loki tried to pull his little like mischief prank, but Thor was a step ahead of him.
We've seen a lot, and and it's kind of a meta thing when Thor's like, you're getting predictable.
Yeah,
like I think there's only so much you can do with Loki. Like
exactly,
he's always going to betray you. He's always going to be the god of mischief, and Thor's accepted that, and it's kind of boring for the audience now with Loki because he's just going to do the same thing over and over and over, unless like he does something more and grows like Thor wants him to be. So I'm interested to see where his arc goes. Honestly, in Avengers, if anywhere, if Thanos lets it go anywhere. But I've loved the arc of Loki over these movies. It's one of my highlight relationships in the MCU.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to see
Yeah.
it goes, if anywhere.
Yeah. I empathize with it so much just like because I have brothers and
Yeah.
but I love what Thor says about when he says like you're going to be you and I'm going to be me, but like and what you said about how Loki sees Thor growing and learning and like moving on, like moving past him when for so long he has admired and wanted Thor's attention, but like has ultimately thought himself better than Thor and above Thor. But like Thor is simple and like plain or like ill suited to the
strongest Avenger.
Yeah. But like when he sees that Thor's actually like learned and gone past where Loki is. Okay, so there's this moment in the final battle. It's the moment when Thor lights up the tower, like when he summons his powers and like the huge lightning bolt falls from the sky and like just obliterates the palace and obliterates Hela. Like there's just this super quick shot of Loki on the bridge and he just has like just the slightest smile on it. Like he has a plain face and then he just smiles. And it's the smile of a brother who like sees his brother owning and just like, like it's that brotherly smile of like admiration and like pride.
He's not the meathead. Thor's not the meathead that we first see him in the beginning of Thor by any means.
Yeah. But I like seeing Loki
acknowledge
that and be like proud of it and like that's my brother.
It's
and,
really cool.
It's
loved
really well
seeing
done.
Like your gripes of the last two Thor movies like aside, Thor and Loki's relationship is extremely well handled throughout the MCU.
Yeah. I like before we move on from this stuff, there's another brief scene between Thor, like speaking of when Thor gets all of his electric power, gets it. It was within you all
Achievement
along.
unlocked.
Yeah. Level up. But he has a little spirit. Black Panther wasn't the OG. He has a little spirit talk with his dad.
Death is not the end in my culture.
Yeah. What did you think of that?
I didn't read that much into it.
It's a little bit like we've heard those lines before. We kind of almost know them because they're lessons we've learned before in other movies or just other things.
I don't think I interpret it as literally as you do.
What do you mean?
I don't know if that's actually Odin like
oh, really?
Speaking to him?
Like it's just like Thor like
in his
reflecting?
Head. Yeah. I never like approached it as literally I think as you did when we were watching the movie.
I don't know because
it could go either way, but honestly I don't care either way.
I think it is because he envisions him like multiple times throughout the film, and he looks different than like when he was actually there talking with him.
I think he looks pretty similar.
No, but I mean like he's like facing Thor, and anyways, yeah.
I think it could be interpreted either way.
I think you're right.
Let's talk about Hela.
Yeah, you want to get into that?
Yeah. Hela is my least favorite part of this movie.
Easily.
I like the first scene when they first meet and
it's revealed.
It's revealed that like she's the long lost sister of Thor and Loki. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. I'm excited to see where this goes.
And when she shows up and she breaks his hammer,
it's dope.
Do you wish that wouldn't have been shown in the trailers?
Yeah, I wish it didn't either.
Like
that's a big moment, but the film doesn't treat it like it's a big moment.
Yeah, and like the trailers made it. They had that wow factor of making audiences both new and old be like, "Whoa, what?" You know, like she just breaks his hammer. We got to see this movie. It
establishes the tone of the film,
but
at the in the marketing. But here, I don't even understand how she can hold it and break it. Yeah. Like, is she worthy? I don't understand how she's worthy.
I think it's just to show that she's like Odin level powerful. Like,
and I get that, I understand that, but I don't understand like how she can wield it based on what we know of the rules of Thor's hammer.
What do we know? Cap budgeted.
You have to be worthy.
Vision can carry it.
You have to be worthy, and I don't think.
Do you think Vision's more worthy than Captain America?
Ooh,
that's what I'm saying.
Real good
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
the rules about Thor's hammer are so crap.
But
in
it's
this
such
universe.
it's such a dope moment when Vision picks it. It's one of the best parts of Age of Ultron.
Yeah. And that's like their whole conversation at the end, like elevator's not worthy. Like
it's a great line. Yeah, in Age of Ultron. But I really like that first scene. I like her chasing after them in the Bifrost and her knocking them out of the Bifrost. But the most interesting part of of Hela is her relationship to Thor and Loki, and they pretty much spend like the whole film entirely apart.
Which doesn't help her as a villain.
It doesn't.
We were talking about that when we were watching it. Like villains, the most even Zemo, who doesn't actually have a relationship with these characters. When we learn
He does.
When we learn about like his motivations, it's all about like they're very personal motivations. Like he is getting revenge, like specifically, and
also Zemo's way more nuanced than stab, kill, kill.
Yeah, exactly. Ugh.
So
we do get like a little scene with her and Thor in the throne room, but because they haven't been together like the rest of the movie, like playing back and forth with each other and like building a rivalry, it doesn't feel motivated.
No.
Yeah. That's why it's boring.
Well, that, and she just shows up, right? She kills the Warriors 3 that we didn't give her. Oh, some of the Warriors 3. Sif's not there she couldn't be there because of scheduling. Jimmy Alexander couldn't, but
Sif couldn't. She had other things on her agenda.
Yeah, she had a hot date on Vandelheim or whatever.
Shout out to Logan for knowing one of the other 9 realms.
I don't even know if I pronounced that right. Don't give me that much credit. So she shows up, kills all these, then she like mows down Odin's army, which is just a bunch of like CGI, like no name characters, which the action is good. I just don't care. Then she walks around and monologues for all of her other scenes, and I don't care about the character.
It's
Cate
exposition.
Blanchett, yeah, it's most of it's exposition. Cate Blanchett's like, she's given a great performance, but the whole time we cut away from Sakaar to Hela, like nothing. I'm so much more invested and interested in what's happening on Sakaar, and that I just don't care about Hela.
There's not even a lot of emotional, like there could be tons of emotional depth, right? Like it's almost there in this woman who's been like betrayed and who's been like locked away and hidden away by her father, but she's so spiteful and like arrogant that you don't
There's
feel
no
any of that
emotional
like depth.
Like catharsis to that character. I don't empathize. I think it's one of the biggest problems with Hela is I don't empathize with that villain.
Yeah, and you should.
I empathize with Zemo. Empathize with Killmonger.
Yeah,
I empathize with Loki.
Yeah,
don't empathize with Hela by any means.
But like, it's like has the potential.
But the movie itself is not interested enough in her.
No.
It's way more interested in Sakaar and the comedic moments that's happening over there.
And honestly,
to where everything just falls flat with her.
Yeah. I don't know how to fix this, and I don't think we need to spend a lot of time talking about it. But yeah, even the first time we watched this movie, we both said, and I think I felt the same way now, when you're watching it, you're watching the stuff on Sakaar and you're totally engaged and like
loving
in it,
laughing.
And then when it cuts to Hela, you're like, okay.
It's hella dumb.
And then you're like, can we get back to Sakaar? And then when you're back on Sakaar, you're like, okay, whew, cool.
The movie's back.
Yeah.
It gains its energy back.
Before we jump to Sakaar and talk about all that stuff, you want to talk about Scourge?
Nah.
Yeah. Okay. You said you wanted to earlier.
Yeah.
But I was like, we're
already a good chunk of the podcast, and I don't want to waste it on that boring character. Favorite moment with Scourge? Dez and Troy. Put them together and they say destroy.
You mean when he...
I got it from the planet Texas.
When he has his little redemption moment, or at the beginning?
No, I like his redemption moment, but I like that beginning moment where he's talking about Dez and Troy.
I care so little about him. I care less about him than about Hela.
I do too. Like his arc is just not interesting in the film. Yeah. He's just basically someone for Hela to monologue to.
Exactly. And he dies.
Then he dies. He has a heroic sacrifice, but whatever.
Also, that was sorry, Tycho, but that was a bad cut. Like the cut from when she throws like a sword at him.
Yeah,
and when
it just makes him seem super lame.
Well, it's also it's like a very old school like movie edit. Like cut to you have a character and there wasn't a sword in them. Oh, cut. Now there is a sword in them.
Yeah, you don't see the sword enter. Yeah, totally. I get what you're saying. But it's sad because when it was announced that Karl Urban was going to be in Thor Ragnarok, I was stoked because I love Karl Urban.
And the shots of him in the trailer look like baller. They look cool.
Yeah, and I love so many of Carl Urban's movies, and I think he's a fantastic actor. He's my favorite thing about the new Star Trek films.
Okay, so
but there's not he's just a waste here.
I think with Scourge and with Hela, and I think ultimately the whole climax of the movie, right? Serta destroys Asgard. I want to chat briefly about, like, in this whole trilogy, why when Asgard gets destroyed, we don't care.
Because we never cared about it to begin with.
Yeah.
I never was invested in the city. Never was really invested in the people.
Yeah. The people are so fit, like
it's so wasted.
They tried to put faces to them, and those faces were killed immediately.
Look at the difference between how we feel about Wakanda with one movie, versus how we feel about Asgard in 3.
And so many characters have names and faces and lots of screen time.
Look at the supporting cast in Wakanda, and like how much we love that supporting cast.
You even care about M'Baku, who's like a weird like anti-hero sub-villain like guy.
Yeah.
Who we see for like less than 20 minutes of the film. But
it's just, never cared about Asgard, and I'm glad it went boom. And I'm interested to see where Asgard, the whole idea of like Asgard's like a city. I mean, it's a people, it's not a city or a place. I like that, and I think that's awesome. But what does that mean when Thanos shows up with his ship and then just kills them all?
Yeah.
That's like, okay, I don't know where we go from there, because we're like, oh, yeah, it's just a bunch of people, not a place. We just saved them. Oh, they're all dead now.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to play out.
Me neither.
I'm going to be
interested to see how it feels and what it's going to be like.
I'm going to be a little disappointed if they all just get wiped out. But
my prediction is Korg, Heimdall, Meek, and Loki all bite it.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that.
I think they're all dead. I think most of Asgard is dead too.
Okay. I was gonna say something else. Oh, my favorite Hela moments. One, when she first appears and takes out the hammer, and she has that first thing where she like puts the spike horns on. Super cool. Gosh, the shots of her in the trailer were so cool. And my second favorite moment,
she looks cooler out of context than she does actually in context.
Yeah. My second favorite Hela moment is when she and Thor are fighting in the throne room, like actually fighting, and Thor says like a line that Odin says, and she finishes the line.
Yeah,
and that's
which is a line that means a lot from Thor 1.
Yeah, and it's like the first time that you realize that they
like
are
a good
siblings.
king should must not seek out war, but must always be ready for it. It's just cool to see how they both twist the philosophy behind that statement, and how it's different. It was even different for Odin based on the two different eras of Odin's life, which you see reflected in Thor versus what's her face, Hela.
Yeah. And I like how it showed that more than anything in the movie shows that they're like siblings. Like she's like, totally. Yeah, I've heard this line before too. Like it's Dad's old saying.
They feel like siblings in name only.
Yeah.
For most of them.
Because they are.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Let's talk about
Sakaar.
Yeah, let's talk about Sakaar.
So Thor and Hulk first. You want to talk about that?
Yeah.
Or you want to talk about let's talk about that Quinjet scene. Let's just jump right into it.
Oh, I want to. Let's talk about the battle and stuff first.
Okay, I'm down with that. My favorite, not my favorite part of the movie, but as a big Planet Hulk fan, like comic book fan, when I saw that in the trailer, I lost my crap.
I love that they give Hulk the full gladiator outfit.
Oh yes,
it's so cool.
Definitely. The helmet and the like double like axe and hammer, like so cool. I think that like the choreography in it is super cool. I love like when Thor's...
I love how it ebbs and flows, and how like they feel just the dynamics of the relationship within the battle as well.
Yeah, and you feel like the give and take of like a real fight, like when you're kind of. When Thor's kind of up, when Hulk's kind of up, and that it ultimately does kind of end in this nebulous draw, like, and you're not quite sure, but like how they keep bantering off of that. Like,
it's not a draw. Thor won.
Yeah.
Thor won.
You think?
I think so. Yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah, because he gets
he got shocked because he already had he had Hulk on the ropes.
Yeah. I love that moment when but when Hulk has Thor on the ground and he's just pounding him like repeatedly,
it's awesome. One thing that I don't understand is how like they bring, so the whole like running joke is like Thor being shocked in this movie, which is like a throwback to the taser from Thor 1.
Yeah.
And I love it. So they have like Thor being taken down by electricity the whole movie. But I don't understand how he can be the god of thunder and lightning, but in some like these huge amounts of electricity. But when he gets shocked by like a little like neck like shocker thing,
yeah,
he takes him down. I don't understand how that works.
I don't either. Maybe it's just a joke.
It is just a joke, and maybe I'm taking it too seriously. But
no, but I agree with you.
It doesn't make sense.
It's not like it's not congruous.
Yeah.
I love in that fight. There's some shots of Thor doing like these like 1-2 like very strategically placed like punches at like Hulk's like weak points. Like you see him like punch him in like the muscles of his thighs to like bring him to his knees, and then he'll do like a couple of jabs at like his gut, and like just like it's like very measured, and like he's trying to bring him down like with just his bare fists, and it's really cool. I
didn't love like I think the fight is great and it's choreographed great. Yeah. It looks great. I didn't enjoy it, and I wasn't invested in it as much as I thought I would be, and as much as I wanted to be.
Because there's no stakes.
Not really.
Because you know that this is just like a fight for like, it's just eye candy.
Which is why like when I watched them fight for the first time on the helicarrier in Avengers 1, I was way more invested in it. And even though it's like not as cool.
Because you don't know what's going to happen.
You don't know what's going to happen. You think about it. You have Hulk, this huge like creature aboard like a flying like airship going crazy and just throwing and chucking stuff around.
And Thor's the only one who can take him to task.
Totally.
But yeah, and this like the most exciting part is when Thor shoots him with lightning and everybody freaks out. But I love, and then when like Hulk smashes him around, does the puny god bit, and Loki jumps up and is like, yeah, that's what it feels like.
My favorite part of this whole battle is Loki. His reaction
to
Hulk.
It. Yeah.
I love that so much that they brought that back from Avengers 1.
It's really
I love
well done.
how much the whole fight echoes Avengers 1.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's so cool.
It's a great continuation of that. And almost like who would win, like if we actually put these two toe to toe. And I think it is Thor, but they also do kind of leave it somewhat open ended.
It's Thor at this point in his relation, his life.
Yeah.
Who knows if like the more like time that Hulk spends being the Hulk, that he could beat Thor. So I don't think it's like this definitive like Thor will always beat the Hulk.
Oh no!
It's just in this point in time, this is how the fight shook out.
Definitely. Let's talk about Hulk and Thor. So they're back in Hulk's pad.
I love it. Looks like Target.
What I love is that it does look like Target.
Hulk's even throwing around like the red Target ball.
Yeah, I love that we get to have like Thor having a long drawn out conversation with just any other Avenger. More than just like, yes, Captain America, I respect you. You're a good man. Pat on the shoulder. But like he gets to have like a relationship with another Avenger, and that the person who that like is Hulk. And I know it's a joke because he's like, no, you're my favorite. Like I would much prefer you. And then when Banner shows up, he's like, no, like I'd much prefer you.
I love all that.
Yeah.
Some of the funniest stuff in the whole movie is like Thor and Hulk.
Oh yeah, easily. But I actually think he's being serious when he says like that he prefers Hulk.
Yeah, totally.
Like because he's just this big, strong guy, and there's like this respect of like,
films.
Yeah, that they can fight, and like you see it in the beginning when they're first fighting on the helicarrier, and like when Thor's doing that move where he goes to like he's waiting for his hammer to come, and like the Hulk is just running at him. He has this look on his face of like joy, like just pure excitement, like that he gets to fight this creature who's like
totally.
Yeah.
Also, the mocap for Mark Ruffalo's Hulk has never looked better.
Oh yeah.
I love how they keep like evolving it and bringing even more and more emotion.
Yeah.
Every time we see it.
Yeah, and nuance and like. And I think Mark Ruffalo does a good job. I appreciate that he has stuck around, because like this long, to see Hulk not just be this kind of like King Kong-esque character that we see in the Incredible Hulk movie, like where like to the point where Hulk has dialogue and has.
I love that we like the Hulk evolves with every movie.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of my favorite aspects of Age of Ultron, and one of my favorite things that Age of Ultron introduced.
Because it is incredible to see like the actor portray the emotion on the Hulk's face, and we can get all those facial expressions, and it communicates like so much. But
Totally.
for like Ruffalo to stick around long enough to see the Hulk develop as like a sentient being and as a character who has his own relationships and interactions with the other characters. So like on the helicarrier, you see like this combined reaction from both Banner and Hulk to like Natasha's little video, right? Like it's not just Banner inside.
Quinjet, not helicarrier.
Oh yeah, I said helicarrier. Whoops. Yeah, I love that moment. I think it's very well done.
Yeah, I love all the Thor and Hulk stuff in this movie. The Quinjet scene where Hulk like sees. Oh well, first of all, before that, I love all like Thor stuff where he's like trying to get his handpick to be registered by the Quinjet's like automated computer.
Yeah.
I love all like the strongest
Hilarious.
Avenger stuff. So much fun. But when Hulk sees that Natasha video, I love how much it affects Bruce and how much it affects the Hulk.
Yeah.
And I've always been a Natasha and Bruce fan, but for me, that like is their most emotional moment.
Yeah.
And if you're not a Natasha and Bruce fan, I think that scene will help you.
Yeah.
Will help like go a long ways to get you on that train.
I think it's interesting that like at the end of Age of Ultron, like the Hulk is just kind of starting to, and I think that is the Hulk who turns off that message. You know,
Totally.
And who puts it away. But he's been Hulk for so long. And in this like moment of surprise and shock, he's shocked by that message. And I love that moment that
It's so emotional.
Yeah. I like that he doesn't just immediately transform back into Banner.
It's a struggle.
It's a struggle. And you hear him say like, no, like he doesn't want to, Hulk doesn't want to change back. And he's like punching himself in the face to try to like stay as like the Hulk.
And the effects look freaking phenomenal.
Yeah.
They look
so good.
It's easily like my favorite like Hulk transformation or detransformation.
Oh yeah. I like the moment when they're on the street and like Bruce and Thor are talking, and like Bruce is getting like ticked off about something, and you just see like the green vein and you hear like his voice change. We haven't seen that kind of stuff from him before, before on screen.
Cool. I really love how this, like Kevin Feige said, this movie starts the beginning. It's like the first part of a 3-part arc, 3-film arc for the Hulk in the MCU. Yeah. So
the first part, huh?
Yeah. So I'm really excited to see where like the arc of the Hulk goes.
Do you think that's going to include Avengers?
No, it does.
Okay.
It's over Thor Ragnarok, Avengers 3, and Avengers 4.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's because they can't tell a Hulk solo movie because of the rights with Universal. Yeah. So Kevin like outlined this arc in the story with Mark Ruffalo that they're going to tell over over the next 2 movies.
Yeah,
and over the course of 3 movies. And I love what's been done so far and how it evolves.
So I know there's some speculation.
And I'm excited to see how Bruce and Natasha play into that.
Oh, definitely. And you can tell from that's
low key one of the things
trailers.
I'm like most stoked for in Infinity War.
Yeah, me too. You can tell from the trailers that they're going to be definitely leaning into that stuff.
They're definitely going to be in Wakanda together.
Oh yeah, and they're going to have a little reunion.
I'm excited for Shuri and Bruce Banner to be in the laboratory together.
Oh yeah, or Tony Stark even.
Yeah, even all of them together.
I'm ready for Tony to just get for Shuri just to look down on him so much.
Yeah,
to be like,
I want Shuri to be the smartest person in the room. Honestly.
Oh yeah, but. Okay, sorry. This is just a quick side note, parenthetical note. I wish T'Challa was that. In the comics, T'Challa is as smart. Not as smart, but he can play with Reed Richards and Tony Stark. When it comes to brains and technology.
He's a member of the
science.
Illuminati.
Yeah, and I don't feel that in these movies.
I don't either. He's more the king trying to figure it all out.
Yeah.
He has a team that helps him. Which I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that.
I don't know. I want him to be on that level.
But I like that he needs other people.
I do too, but I want other people to underestimate him. And then like for him to be like, actually, I know all about this.
Yeah.
But anyways, so there's like speculation out there. And I think it's possible. I don't know how probable it is, but what do you think about the odds of Hulk and Bruce being separated by the end of Avengers 4?
I think it'd be like two separate beings.
Yeah. Like with the Reality Stone or something like that. Like they get separated and become two characters.
That'd be super interesting.
I mean, they already are two characters, but like,
I don't know
have you not heard about that? Like,
this is the first time I'm hearing about.
People have been talking about it for this movie. Like, like
it's been done before. I'm sure there's precedence for it in the comics, but I think it'd be super interesting.
Do you think it would work?
Oh, well, of course it would work. It's Kevin Feige.
Yeah,
he's got interesting stories
make
telling.
It happen.
Well, and do it well, and it'd be an interesting story.
We have ways of separating the Hulk.
Yeah,
we can.
Arnim Zola does it. Let's talk about Valkyrie.
Yeah, I love her. I think she's
awesome.
She's such a great new addition.
Within the first scene, she's more dynamic than Jane Foster ever was.
Yeah, I said it when we were watching this time. So she shows up, she's drunken in a stupor. In like less than 5 minutes. Yeah.
Drunk and in a stupor?
Drunk and in a stupor, yeah. Those are two separate things. Drunk and stupor. But in less than 5 minutes of screen time, I like have a sense of more character with her than I do in half an hour of screen time with Jane Foster. And I don't think that's like necessarily a comment on Natalie Portman's acting as much as the script.
I think it's all the above.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've never connected with the Natalie Portman performance.
Have you seen Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium?
No. I haven't seen Black Swan either, so.
Oh, I've never seen Black Swan. I don't know.
I know, but she got like an Oscar for that movie.
Yeah.
But Valkyrie's awesome. I love her tragic backstory. I love her flashback scene of like her and the Valkyrie being destroyed by Hela.
And I like that.
I love how it's like a heavy metal album cover come to life.
Oh yeah,
it's so cool.
I love that Loki like forces that out of her when she like wasn't like she's been burying that.
How did Loki do that?
I don't know. He's magic and mysticism.
Is he a Vulcan? That's what I want to know.
I think it's like some.
It reminded me of a mind meld.
I think it's some Scarlet Witch type stuff. Like,
yeah, where did he learn that?
I don't know. He's a sorcerer and like a magician.
That's a little like lazy thing that bugged me.
I don't care. How did the Emperor learn to shoot lightning out of his fingers? I don't care. He can do it.
Okay, but
how did Thor learn to shoot lightning from the sky without his hammer? He just does it.
We'd have no like precedence for this.
We didn't have precedence for lightning. Get over it.
But that's when he was just first introduced in the first movie.
So what?
Okay.
Luke didn't have precedence for pulling his lightsaber out of the snow.
I think those are all like very different things than this. But
no, Luke didn't have precedence for pulling his lightsaber out of the snow.
But he was
it's the same thing. It's a character in two different movies.
In between the two films, he was learning new powers and stuff.
Yeah, but when you watch those movies, you didn't like. If you were watching those movies in the 70s and 80s when they came out, you didn't know that.
But I don't live in the 70s and 80s, Ian.
No, well, you're living right now, and you watched Loki in one movie, and you watched him in the next movie, and you can assume that he's learned powers.
Still feels like Loki can do whatever he wants.
I don't think.
So people could do whoever they want. Hela can do whatever she wants, and it's kind of irritating in this film.
I think all she can do is create sword-like objects
and like stand on stones and stuff. I don't know. It's just annoying power.
Weird. Set. But Valkyrie can do whatever she wants. And she's a boss.
And I like the sexual tension between her and Thor as well.
Yeah, it's like
I'm excited to see where like that character goes. She's on this ship in Infinity War.
I think she's gonna live. I don't know
where all these people go though. Yeah. I don't see why Thanos would let them live.
You know what I just decided? Because I do think she's gonna live. She's too interesting of a character and too new to kill off right away.
But time stone, bruh.
Yeah. I think this is, you don't eradicate all of Asgard, you kill a bunch of them already. There's only like 100 of them, but you kill a bunch of them, and Thor faces Thanos, and he like sends Valkyrie off like with the rest of Asgard. Like they escape, and she's the one who's like taking care of them.
Yeah, I could see that happening, and I understand why it would. I just don't understand how or why Thanos would let that happen.
It's because Thor's distracting him. Like Thor and Loki go toe to toe.
I'm distracting you, turd blossom.
Yeah.
Dance off, bro.
I forgot he says turd blossom.
So good.
So good. I'm ready for them to be on screen again. 2 days, Logan.
I know,
Well,
I
three.
can't wait.
3 days for
Can't
us.
wait. What do you think about Heimdall in this movie?
Tomorrow for you guys, if you're listening to this, or if you're listening to this
You're
in
making
the
it
future,
you're making it too complicated.
if you're listening to this after Avengers Infinity War, go see it. Then it'll be tomorrow or
Yeah,
today for you.
You can just skip all of our speculation because it don't matter.
Yeah.
What do you think of Heimdall in this movie?
I like him. I honestly got tired of Heimdall after Thor 2.
I like his little appearance in
Age of Ultron. I like that too, but like
Also, can we talk about how Age of Ultron, that whole like dream sequence, is radically different than the tone of this film?
It's because
You
Taika
could-
wasn't in charge.
Yeah, it was. You can definitely tell there was like a change of the guard in the riding of the ship. Well, not the riding of the ship, but the steering of the ship in a different direction post Age of Ultron.
Yeah, definitely. And you feel that like every movie. Every Thor movie, I mean, Asgard always looks a little bit different, like a little more.
Yeah, I think each director puts their own stamp on it.
Yeah.
But it's completely different. It's like I remember being very, very bored by Thor in Age of Ultron, and this movie really establishes him as a premier Avenger.
Yeah.
That can easily stand alongside a Cap and Iron Man. Whereas before I felt like he never really stood like on their same level.
Like, yeah, character wise and depth
and
like,
caring.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't care nearly as much. But Heimdall.
He was just there to be strong.
I think this is probably like
Heimdall,
I don't think Heimdall's just kind of there always. But I think as far as Heimdall movies go, I think this might be my favorite Heimdall movie, even though it's not saying much.
He has some cool action moments in this, and I freaking love his dreads. But ultimately,
and I glad he got rid of the stupid like gold armor that he was wearing. This is like his like much like vigilante. His vigilante outfit looks way cooler.
I think you're right. The gold armor is classic though. Like with the big horns, especially.
Yeah.
I ultimately feel like he's more of a plot device than anything.
Totally.
Like he's just there to be like, and this
Idris
is where
Elba-
the Asgard, like the Asgardians are like hiding.
Totally. In the caves underneath.
Yeah. The
Helm's
Mines of
Deep.
Moria.
The mines. Well, it looks like it kind of like the door looks like it's in the Mines of Moria, but the
Caves look like, the caves behind Helm's Deep. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel kind of sad for Idris Elba in these movies. He's a fantastic actor and talent that's kind of wasted.
A little
in these
bit
Thor
wasted.
films.
Yeah. He and Kate Blanchett can hang out together as the Thor characters who could have been more like Loki.
That and the Warriors 3.
Yeah.
Basically,
But were those actors wasted? I don't know.
they weren't wasted, but Zachary Levi was wasted.
Zachary Levi is going to be Shazam.
I know.
What do you think about that?
I think it's
Hey, folks, we're
think he'd
going
be
to
good or
finish our
bad.
MCU review. This actually is our last episode before Infinity War, and then we have a whole world of other stuff to get to, and you can be looking out for that. DC is definitely on the table. Star Wars is on the table. Other Marvel things are on the table. Everything under the sun.
Rescue Heroes is on the table.
Yes, it is. Actually,
Thomas the Tank
we've been
Engine, the
having
Magic
some
Railroad
serious
is on the table.
conversations about Rescue Heroes recently.
Yes. We actually broke down what it would take for us to actually do a Rescue Heroes podcast.
Yeah.
And the format and everything, just for funsies.
Did you know my brother and I have we've dreamcasted a live action
We could
Rescue
easily
Heroes movie?
in our Rescue Heroes podcast, we could easily do an episode on fan casting the Rescue Heroes movie. The Rock is 100% in it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He is 100%.
Is he
in
Jake Justice or Rocky Canyon?
it. He's Jake Justice one for sure.
I think you're right.
Rocky Canyon, Michael B. Jordan.
Yes.
Yep. Isn't that perfect?
Oh my god.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Okay, anyways, we gotta get back.
We're way too passionate about Rescue Heroes.
Way too passionate.
We're gonna have
We
to do
just
Rescue Heroes
lost
at some
half
point.
of our viewership. Like,
I don't care.
Our listenership.
Rescue Heroes is dope.
You want to rank this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Man,
You go first.
I don't know. Right?
It's kind of a hard one for me.
Okay, so let me count here real quick. Thor is at number 8 for me. Right above it is Black Panther, and right below it is Doctor Strange. By Thor, I mean Thor Ragnarok. Man, do I think Doctor Strange is better than this movie?
See, that's my question. That's my question.
Do you have them next to each other also?
So I had Thor Ragnarok at number 7, with Black Panther being at 8 and Doctor Strange being at number 9.
Oh, so we have the same 3 movies, like 7, 8, and 9, just in different orders.
But I think I'm about ready to switch the order up.
Let me hear what you're going to say.
I think I'm going to put Thor Ragnarok. Well, I think I'm going to go number 7, Black Panther, number 7, Black Panther, number 8, Doctor Strange, Thor Ragnarok at number 9. This movie's great, but I think I like those 2 films more. The clincher will be is what I think when I see Black Panther again tomorrow night.
Yeah.
I'm recording this on a Monday night. We're going to see it again on Tuesday night. But for right now, at least, I'm going to put Doctor Strange over it.
Man.
I'm going to do it because I think it's just a more cohesive film.
I think you're right about that.
Doctor Strange, honestly, guys, has been the biggest surprise for me in this MCU interview.
Really?
How much I actually really enjoyed that film and how good of a film I actually think it is.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's a lot of enjoyable moments and a lot of great moments.
Great characters.
I'm talking about Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, same. That too.
But ultimately this movie is kind of a skid turn out of what was kind of a mediocre trilogy.
Which I applaud.
Yeah.
But still, not everything with this film really works for me. It's a very mixed bag because of how much I do not care about Hela or any of the Asgard stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But I love Thor and Hulk, Valkyrie. I love the Avengers.
Yeah.
And I love Loki, and I love the Odin stuff.
Yeah, it's all really good. But I think you're right in that
it's not consistently
Doctor
great.
Strange is consistently a good movie throughout. And I enjoy it, and just as a standalone movie arc, it's fantastic, and I'm ready to watch that. I mean, I'm ready to watch both of these movies again, but yeah, I think I'm with you. Black Panther at 7, Doctor Strange at 8, and Thor Ragnarok at 9.
So since this is our last episode of our MCU review before we get to Infinity War.
You want to list out our lists?
Yes.
And listeners,
top to
track with us. If you don't have your own list by now, I recommend it. I wasn't into it really before. It was Logan who kind of got me into organizing them all, but it puts things into perspective. So track with us, and if you have a differing opinion, get in on the comments and let us know what you think or what your list would be.
And I'd love to talk about it with you.
Yeah, we want to talk about the different points. If you think, and we know people who think this, they've been on this podcast. If you think Iron Man 3 isn't one of the top 3 Marvel movies,
it's crazy to me.
Tell us why. We want to know.
If you think Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is not a good movie, let us know. We love that movie.
I hear about that almost every night.
All right, so number 1 for me, Civil War.
Check.
Number 2, The Winter Soldier.
Check.
Number 3, The Avengers.
Check.
Number 4, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Check.
Number 5, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Nope.
Number 6, Captain America: The First Avenger. Number 7, Doctor Strange. Number 8, Black Panther. Number 9, Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, you put Black Panther at number 8.
Number 10, Iron Man. Number 11, Avengers: Age of Ultron. Number 12, Spider-Man: Homecoming. Number 13, Ant-Man. Number 14, Iron Man 2. Number 15, Thor: The Dark World. Number 16, Thor. Number 17, Iron Man 3. Number 18, Incredible Hulk.
Okay. So we have our kind of different groupings pretty much the same. There's a couple things. Our top 4 are exactly the same. And then we do have these different clumps that are right next to each other, but maybe just a few things switched around. Like our bottom 5 are relatively the same. I think the biggest difference for me is where I put Avengers Age of Ultron. Okay, so my top is Civil War, then Winter Soldier, then Avengers, and Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Number 5 for me is Captain America, the First Avenger, and number 6 is Guardians of the Galaxy.
You just flip-flop those two.
Yeah, so you had Guardians at 5, right beneath Guardians 2. Black Panther is still number 7 for me, though I do want to rewatch it before I see Infinity War, and then maybe that'll change. Now that we've seen it, because we watched it before we started watching all the other movies, and now we're gonna put it in its proper place. And I've only
seen it once still.
Really? I've seen it twice.
Tuesday will be my second viewing.
Yeah. So Black Panther at 7, Doctor Strange at 8, Thor Ragnarok at 9, and then I have Avengers Age of Ultron at 10. Where did you put it for you?
I put it at 11.
Oh, really? At 11? Did you have Spider-Man Homecoming at 10?
I had
Iron Man.
No, I had at 10. I had Iron Man. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have Age of Ultron, Homecoming, Iron Man at 12.
Okay.
Ant-Man at 13, and then I put Thor 2 and then Thor at 14 and 15.
Above Iron Man 2?
Yeah.
Oh.
I honestly...
Iron Man 2 is so much fun. I feel like I'm always flying the Iron Man 2 flag.
I'll have to watch it more. I honestly
it's so good.
I like the character stuff and the relationship between Thor and Loki a lot. So yeah, Iron Man 2 at 16, Incredible Hulk at 17, and Iron Man 3 at the bottom.
Nice.
The very bottom, where it deserves to be.
Incredible Hulk's worse.
But Iron Man 2... See, the thing about... The difference is Iron Man 3 should have been better.
Okay, I get that. But Incredible Hulk, I think, is an objectively worse movie.
Maybe, you're right.
Just look at the special effects alone.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Alone.
Iron Man 3 was made at a different time, though.
But here's the thing. Iron Man 1 and Incredible Hulk were made at the same time, and just look at the drastic difference in effects.
You're true. And the special effects for Iron Man still hold up.
Yep, 100%.
Well,
I think that's it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we made it.
If
18 movies.
Yeah.
18 freaking movies. And Ian's already talking about the ones he wants to go back and rewatch.
I know. And why not? Because they are all maybe not all, but they're great movies. This is something that has been this is the first time in cinematic history that something like this has been done. And it's incredible to be alive for that. And to
100%
be able to
and a journey with it
in
over the years.
Yeah, and that's all going to culminate in Avengers: Infinity War. And what I'm really excited for is that things are going to keep going beyond that. Like that, we have movies beyond Infinity War that we're going to keep getting to see. So yeah, here's to all that. Listen, folks, if you've stuck with us for the last 18 episodes, thanks.
Yes, thank you so much for coming along with us on this journey. Yeah, it's been awesome.
We want to keep bringing you with us into the rest of our endeavors. Ultimate Fan Podcast isn't just about MCU review; it's about the greatest entertainment and the greatest fans, and we want to keep talking about all that stuff. So keep checking out our social media. You can find us all on all of the different platforms: Facebook, Twitter,
Ultimate Fan Podcast, at Ultimate Fan Podcast,
Instagram.
Feel free to send us messages or comment with your thoughts and replies. We'd love to talk about it more with you. Make sure to give us 5-star rating on iTunes and leave us a quick review. That'll help us a lot and get a lot more noticed. And that would be, we want to bring more people into the family, and that would be, with your help, that would be awesome.
Yeah, and we'll be posting soon about what's next and what you can be looking out for.
Totally. Can't wait to talk about Infinity War.
Probably Solo. It's going to be.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming right around the bend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's flying into, man.
A theater near you.
The puns are so, I can't even muster them. Man. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we need to say.
That's great.
Go ahead and subscribe, like. Those also help. You can find us on YouTube also at Ultimate Fan Podcast if that's your preferred way of listening, iTunes, etc. Yeah, well, thanks once again. It means the world to us that you guys have stuck with us and been listening. And we look forward to continuing the discussion. Once again, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.